Alright, we're back one more time. Again, advertising played a huge role in 1920 as brand name, let's just fix that, there we go, as the building up of brand name identification using celebrities and all sorts of other tools to sell products became even more widespread. Another key component of this mass consumer culture was the use of installment credit, the use of home mortgages. And that wasn't just so much the home mortgages, it was the fact that so many people were investing in all these new technologies, these new corporations, these new companies of public works, electric companies, all these things. They're investing them typically on borrowed money. And we'll see that this caused a massive problem in 1929 as the stock market collapsed. But really, you have to realize that a fundamental shift was going on in American society at this time. People spent a declining amount of money on food and clothing and all the necessities, and increasingly spent it on other non-essential items and consumer products. We had the mass proliferation of department stores and chain stores, but we also saw the creation of gas stations and roadside stores to support the networks of cars or networks of highways being built across America. And we saw these massive growth of interlocking banks and utility companies, and all these things were interlocked with each other so that, much like a house of cards, that if one was to collapse, that it would have repercussions to the others. Again, we'll see this as being a major problem with the Great Depression. Let's go back a sec here. Probably the most important invention in this time period was the radio. This allowed people to reach a massive audience for selling of consumer products, but also created a mass entertainment industry that really sort of imposed a cultural uniformity among Americans. It also blunted regional differences, but it also imposed or disseminated racial and cultural stereotypes that were quite derogatory. We also saw this was an era of new dance crazes such as the Charleston and the Jitterbug. These seem to sort of symbolize the reckless abandon that people had in this era of speakeasies and prohibition and just the mass consumerism that we see evolving in American society at the time. It was an era of jazz. Jazz played a huge role in the American culture and really is a style of music unique to American culture. It was born out of the rural South, mainly sort of a movement of black musicians as they headed north and brought their music with them into the cities of places like Chicago and New York. So obviously this caused great consternation to those who sort of saw this as an erosion, a further erosion of American values, as blacks and the rural poor were making their way into American cities and spreading their music, and it was becoming a great sensation, especially in the illegal pubs and drinking houses, the speakeasies, these underground illegal bars that were springing up all over America. You see that there was a great deal of symbolism attached to the jazz. We had guys like Duke Ellington that said jazz was a great barometer of freedom. It spawned certain ideas of freedom and independence. Music was free, unhindered. It was an expression of complete freedom yet produced in this country. It was really, in many ways as well, a great means of, I guess you can say, a great means of expression among black Americans. Duke Ellington was one of several black Americans who made it big through jazz. But we also see that there was the development of high culture. This was an era of great American novelists like William Faulkner and Ernest Hemingway, as well as other great American intellectuals. And America, for the first time, was really an influential place of design and style, unlike any other previous time when Americans simply copied Europeans. Some, however, commented on this shallowness of